As an exchange student myself, I wanted to put up a collaboration between exchange students all around the world. So I wanted to create a movie that would be about what is exchange, what's the meaning of being an exchange student, the good sides, their struggles, everything about exchange, so people would understand exchange students better. And so this movie is a story about them, told by them.
Hi, my name's Abby McGill and I'm an exchange student from Australia.
Jag heter Axel Bonnevier, jag är 17 år, jag kommer från Sverige.
Allô, mon c'est Lilia.
I'm from Texas, USA, and I'm 18 years old.
Question number 1. Can you describe in your own words what is being an exchange student?
Being an exchange student is like getting to see the world at such a like young age.
You want to experience other places and not just stay in your own hometown and keep dreaming of doing it.
It is learning so much more than at school or anything.
Being an exchange student is only once in a lifetime opportunity.
Being an exchange student is kind of weird because you find yourself in situations that you would never possibly see yourself in.
To me, being an exchange student means being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
It takes a lot.
Is actually being able to adapt and to accept other cultures around you.
I think being an exchange student is being an ambassador for your country.
For me, an exchange student is basically a teen, a young one, crazy, that decides to leave everything he knows behind for a year and just go live the year of his life abroad.
Being an exchange student is amazing. It's like the best thing I've ever done.
Being an exchange student is every day is an adventure.
So, what makes an exchange student stand out in general?
It's that they make actions out of the words.
Is his desire for adventure, his desire to live something new.
Honestly, I think everything makes an exchange student stand out in general.
I think exchange students are in general more adventurous because they chose to leave everything they knew behind and start their life anew in another country.
Despite their cultural differences, they were all going through the same thing together. And even if you talk to an exchange student, they have just such an immense understanding because of the experiences that they're gaining while they're here.
You have a broader aspect of people's cultures and religions and the way people live. You understand people better.
The curiosity conquers the fear of what they don't know.
They don't have to have their way all the time.
We are not afraid to live and not afraid to fail. We know that whatever happens, we get through it.
What do you have to say and what are your thoughts about homesickness/culture shock?
I got culture shock about a month in or something, because the first month is like a honeymoon period is what they call it, and you're just so excited about everything and then you kind of crash.
There's so much differences. Everything is different from what you know, and like it can be hard sometimes, but it can be so amazing to see how the world is different and how people see the way the things like the way you don't.
I think when you are an exchange student, when you're the true meaning of an exchange student, homesickness really wouldn't be a big factor for you, maybe for a short period of time, but it's something that you would get over because you enjoy change and you enjoy being in a new environment.
The culture shocks, on the other hand, has been almost overwhelming sometimes. I found culture shocks everywhere.
I think with technology today, culture shock and everything that's homesickness related didn't really affect me that much.
You don't want to sit in your room and constantly think like what's going on at home or how is everyone else doing, because they'll still be there once you get back. Nothing's going to change.
With Skype, I was able to talk with my friends and Skype with my friends, and I mean, it was pretty easy for me. I didn't miss them much.
Like, it just hits you really hard sometimes.
Everyone experiences homesickness in different ways. Not everyone just breaks down crying. The way that it comes for me, at least, is that I'll be doing something really fun with other exchange students, and the slightest reminder of me doing something similar with my friends back home, I'm like,
But it was only for the first few days because I had to get used to this feeling of confusion all the time.
But it's not a feeling that you like ever expect. Like you know that homesickness is coming, but you never really expect it in the way that it comes.
After I got over it, it was just a high. It's just like you look back, you grow so much, you're like, why was I so down? This is such an amazing experience. I should be embracing it. And yeah, so culture shock is a good thing and a bad thing.
Question number 4, what is or has been the hardest for you so far?
In Australia was very brought up that exchange students, when you go to your new country, will be so popular at school. Everyone will want to take you in to do things, everyone will want to speak to you, everyone will be so interested in you. And I think, yes, maybe that may be the case for some countries, but it's not the case for everyone.
Overthinking and thinking. I've done a lot of thinking so far during my year, and it's really easy to overanalyze the stuff that happens to you and the way that people react in a new culture.
The hardest thing for me has been the food, because I'm a vegetarian and people here, they don't eat as much vegetables as we do in Canada.
I think that the hardest thing so far has been the first day of school. It was so many new impressions and things to remember and people to talk to and classroom to find and buildings to find. And I was about to cry all day.
The hardest for me, to be honest, was managing my money.
The language. I think the language barrier is so hard.
The hardest thing for me has been adapting to my new school. It's very different from where I come from.
Well, the hardest thing for me was obviously the culture.
So far, the language has been the hardest.
I guess it was like the family. Dealing with the amount of waste everybody creates here. It's hard to like look at people waste everything because I am like a really big environmentalist and I'm afraid of the world dying and stuff.
Do you feel like you improved or changed as a person?
I think I did. I don't judge as much, like as fast as I did before.
I'm much more mindful of my language and the words that I use.
When you have to use other language than your own, you get more confidence.
To become more independent, where it's like you literally have no idea. So you have to be extroverted and be able to go up to random strangers.
I can more quickly adapt to situations right now.
I also improved in the way that I think about others and how I see the world around me.
Being abroad for a year and just being with new people and being in a new context really helped me discover myself and who I was and who I wanted to be.
This year has shown me how amazing people can be and how great friends I can have in life.
I've become way better with like nature.
I don't know how much I've changed as a person or in what ways, but I do know that I have.
What I value in friendship, what I value out of life, I think is something I really realized about myself.
A friend told me in America that in America I had yellow glasses and then in Sweden I had blue glasses before I left. And then she said, when you come back, your glasses will be green.
According to you, in what ways do exchange students change the world?
Exchange students change the world as...
I think we change the world by changing ourselves one at a time.
See it as a investment, investing in me to, in the future, go out and help people change the world.
Exchange students change the world in a way that they share it.
We create bonds between 14 countries all around the world, and we understand another culture, values, and lifestyles, and we tell people about our country and our culture and values that we have and all the things back home that I find important. I share about that.
We get to know and meet so many other people of different places. So like, for example, somebody who was an exchange student goes up to be the president of their country. So they would never be like, oh, we should make war against some other country or something, because they know people there, and doing that would actually mean attacking their own friends.
Being able to sympathize with, immigrants or people who aren't from their country because they've been an immigrant in a different country and tried to understand and figure out what's going on.
We are the coming generation and future leaders of this world.
As the ambassadors of kindness, of knowledge, of new cultures, new languages.
Knowledge about other people is the best way to change the world, I think.
I believe that exchange students change the world by creating understanding and breaking down stereotypes.
We understand cultures and religions better. I think we could really stop racism because we just understand people better. We learn so many cultures.
I think most people, when you look at media or social issues around the world, media focuses so much on the differences between cultures, the differences countries have. But there's so many more similarities than there are differences. When you go on exchange, you realize how much people have in common, how similar everyone is.
What would you like to tell people in general about exchange?
Do an exchange year if you have the option.
You will see the prettiest things you will ever see in your life, and you will live like the best emotions that you can live, and you will discover so much, and it is gonna be hard, but it is gonna be awesome, and it's totally worth it.
Say yes to everything, because that's when you'll be more surprised, and that's what you'll remember more in the end.
Don't think that, you have to finish school, go to college and do this. You can always take a break and go on exchange, because the things you learn during that year will most definitely change your life.
Take time to stop and think and look where you are. Don't think about 4 weeks ahead or what happened 4 weeks ago. Think about where you are now. Be grateful for where you are. Take every opportunity with both hands, take it all in. Take pictures, be a stupid tourist, wear stupid things, represent your country, immerse yourself in as many things as you can.
If you just accept the fact that you will have bad days and good days, and you have the worst moments ever, and you have the best moments ever.
You can't come here thinking that the entire thing is going to be a piece of cake, going to be like what you see in movies, on TV. It's going to take a lot of effort, it's going to be difficult, but in the end, it's worth it.
Exchange is a great way to find out who you are and what you're supposed to do. And that's one part why I'm on exchange, because I had no idea what to do. I was sick of school, I was sick of waking up every morning to the same yogurt, to the same thing, and I just wanted something new.
We might not understand during our year or right after we return home, but in a few years we will understand that this year really made a difference.
The minute I talked to someone that had gone on exchange, the first thing he said to me was, "I promise you it'll be the best year of your life," and that could not be more true.
According to you, in what ways do exchange students change the world?
We can